This makes me excited. I don't want to say it. For a Biden presidency. I don't want it. I don't want it. Please don't give it to me. Please. If you're bright on the stream, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to listen. I'm going to agree with the good points, disagree with the bad points. In fact, yell at him for the bad points. Yell at him for empty platitudes, which, you know, being part of the DNC, and again, not an outsider for the DNC, but actually just like, hey, I grew up with the DNC, born and raised DNC. There's going to be a bunch of empty platitudes. We know that. That's par for the course. So I'm going to trash him on those. But I will most likely agree with him on some issues. And that is how we're going to proceed. But keep in mind, my political opinions are usually, I'm more left of him, but I'm not like communist left, you know? You know what I mean? I'm not a social democrat. I don't know what I'll call a technocrat. I'll call myself a technocrat. That's how I would describe my political opinions. So, as we proceed, that is your word of caution. Now let's proceed.
Turn the corner and get American people back to work safely without presidential leadership. Mr. President. Okay,
in order to do that, lockdown should have been taken seriously by the leadership. Okay. Also, what needed to be done, is what Biden should have done is riled his senators and Congress people for the Democratic Party and advocated for more aggressive stimulus package towards the regular people, not towards companies, which they did, because companies always get what they want, but to people. Okay, if people are forced to stay at home, give them money. If they cannot go to work, give them money. Give them a lot of money. Okay, you can afford it. Number one economy in the world. You can afford it. Okay? Oh, we can't. It's going to make people lazy. What? Yeah, I would rather have lazy people than a country of dead people, okay?
Open everything now isn't a strategy for success.
I agree. That's okay.
It's barely a slogan. Quit pushing the false choice between protecting our health and protecting our economy.
That is good. That is a good point. A bunch of that's what Trump's main point. It's like, hey, a bunch of Republicans' main point was that also. It was like, hey, if you want the economy to be good, we have to go to work and kill ourselves. Like that's like there was no like, hey, maybe we should do some precautions for the workers and for the companies. But instead they said, let's go to work and die and see what and hope for the best. And now look, no country, every other country is opening up. Nobody wants to trade with us, which destroys our trade. You can't have travels abroad, including our tourism. People, countries are restricted in tourism to America, which states like Florida, New York, California rely on tourism. Hawaii rely on tourism. And now they're losing a lot of money. Why? Because the president's an idiot. Congress people are idiots. Senators are idiots. This man could have advocated harder. If we at least closed down and provided people with good financial backing, we would be opening up without too many problems. You still have problems here and there, of course. But it would be like, 12 new cases in the country versus 15,000 in one day in Florida.
All it does is endanger our recovery on both fronts. Mr. President, please listen to your public health experts.
Yep.
Instead of denigrating them.
Yeah, that is true. It's like there's no political advantage to that. Zero political advantage. It just makes Trump look like an idiot in front of every world leader. And 60% of the country.
Do your job, Mr. President. Because if we can't deal.
Biden is being too nice to Trump here. He's Mr. President. Dude, if I was up there, I would be, like, yelling it. I would be cussing. I'd be like, this man's a fucking idiot. This president is an idiot, and if you support him still, after all this, you're an idiot. I understand not voting for me because I'm Biden. But my God, if you're still supporting Trump, you're an idiot.
With the public health crisis, we can't deal with the economic crisis or deal with almost 18 million Americans who are out of work.
Yeah.
And the incredible pain inflicted on small businesses and communities of color. We can't deal with the climate crisis that could cost us and cast us into an even darker and more permanent shadow.
True.
Over the country and the world.
True.
For a long time.
Okay.
We won't be able to do what Americans have always done. Come back stronger than ever before.
Americans up until the 60s, they did that. They did do that. Come back stronger than ever before. I guess from conflict, that's the only equivalent I have. Has that been too many pandemics that America has had to deal with? But if we're going as far as conflict, yes. After an enormous situation, America usually does better. Up until the 60s. Which, at that point, everything collapsed. Because 70s technically, right? Because pulled out of Vietnam, pulled out of all these places. You know, you invade and then you kind of half-ass the invasion. You're like, mission accomplished. That was a pointless kind of tangent, but...
With the grit, toughness, and resilience that characterizes who we are. That's what I want to talk about today. Last week, I shared the outlines of my plan to build back better. A bold plan to build an economy...
Wait, what did he say? Was that a person's name, Build Back Better? Or Build Back Better? Because I'm pretty sure Build Back Better is not a person.
That's who we are. That's what I want to talk about today. Last week.
Last week. La semana pasada, okay.
I shared the outlines of my plan to build back better.
Build Back Better, okay. So, to Build Back Better is not a person. Build Back Better is his plan name.
An economy of the future, not an economy of the past.
Good. Economy of the future, fuck coal.
And the first plank of that plan rejects the defeatist view that automation and globalization mean we can't ensure our future is made in America with American good paying union jobs. Okay,
first problem. We need to get over this, like, made in America shit. Okay? To bring back... How Biden, love you, Biden. I don't love you, but... How do you... Again, it's kind of an empty platitude, right? We're gonna bring back, despite automation and globalization, we can still have high-paying manufacturing union jobs in America. Well, you can't. You literally cannot. What is the incentive? Unless you provide giant subsidies, but then you're still going to be at a disadvantage to the people, to the countries and companies that use AI. Okay? You're still going to be at a disadvantage. Instead of focusing on bringing back those jobs that don't need to exist. This is like if I, a job in like the 1800s or whatever was like a person walking around and the person's job was technically an alarm clock, right? He would go to people's homes and like knock on their windows to wake them up. That was a person's job, right? If alarm clocks get invented, I don't want the politicians to be saying, oh, those good alarm clock jobs, those glitter alarmist jobs, we can bring those back. Screw the clocks and the clock industry. In this country, we can do it. Like, I don't want none of that. No! Look into the future. What can we do for those people that lose those jobs? Let's make sure either they, not necessarily don't lose them, but like, if retraining is possible, retrain. And I know in a lot of instances, it's not. And when it's not, give them UBI. Okay? A person in a first-class economy should not be forced to work a meaningless job just to sustain themselves for the principle of a work. That's stupid. Okay? If that person can then allocate the resources to something else, to a hobby, to a creative outlet, that is far more advantageous to society than a person working in a factory job, getting subsidized by taxpayer dollars to, again, work in a job that a robot could do, well, for free to a certain degree. It makes no sense. This is what I disagree with a bunch of lefties. Like, a bunch of lefties and a bunch of, like, far righties. Like, this is where I'm, like, kind of centrist on this, even though I hate the center. The far left and the far right are so protectionist. So protectionist. No! You don't need to be protectionist to support the economy and support the workers. You don't need protectionists at all. You just need to provide adequate care for workers who then lose their job, and or retraining if it is possible. I'm not going to ask a 50-year-old person to learn to code. Okay? That ain't going to happen, right? They should get a UBI, though. A 50-year-old who has worked all of his life in a factory, and that factory all of a sudden, puts in a bunch of robots, that person should not then go broke, lose all of his savings and shit just to sustain himself and his family. Okay, there should be safeguards put into place for that occasion. That's what I advocate for. But to slow down the economy artificially just so we can have, it's made in America, fuck that. If a factory in China can do it better and cheaper, why not? Let's just protect the workers here. That's all that matters. Protect the workers here via money. Via giving them money. Giving them security in their life. Giving them a shitty factory job is not necessarily good for them. Okay? Alright. Rant over. Rant over for now.
Here at home,
I'm sure it'll come up again.
In America. We clearly can. Today, I'm here in Wilmington to talk about a second plank, how we could create millions of high-paying union jobs by building a modern infrastructure and a clean energy future.
I agree with that. That could still create a bunch of jobs. Clean energy is the highest growing sector out of all the sectors. There is definitely room for significant growth there. And that's not even counting the current infrastructure of not energy, but like infrastructure like bridges and roads. We can put a bunch of workers to work. A bunch of unemployed people. And then all the coal miners, right? What am I going to do? What am I going to do if Hillary Clinton wants to come in and take my coal job away? What am I going to do? Good worry, yeah. A very rational worry. But then the solution shouldn't be like, well, let's keep these coal mines open. It should be like, hey, why not? Let's give you another just as well-paying job, if not higher-paying job, if available, doing clean energy, building solar panels, assembling solar panels. You don't need high skills to assemble a solar panel. To, manufacture it, maybe. To design it, maybe. But to assemble it, no, you don't. Get a certification and you'll be good to go. It's doable. It's doable, people.
These are the most critical investments we can make for the long-term health and vitality of both the American economy and the physical health and safety of the American people.
True.
Even if we weren't facing a pandemic and an economic crisis, we should be making these investments anyway.
Yeah, of course.
5 miles of our highways are still in, quote, poor condition, according to the...
Which is very sad. I don't know why Trump hasn't done this. This could be a big political win for him if he tried to. It's like, hey, let's pass this infrastructure bill and put a bunch of people back to work. He might win the election. Again, if he handled the COVID crisis better, he probably would. But again, he could easily do this. This is a bipartisan issue. How is funding roads not something he is advocating for right now?
Americans lack access to high-speed broadband.
Correct.
Get our people to work on
Internet, as far as I'm concerned, should be a human right because you can't do nothing in America without internet. You can't find a job in most cases. Hey, what happens when you go to... I love my parents when I was looking for a job, like in my 20s or whatever, early 20s. And like when I was 19, it's like, oh yeah, go talk to the manager. You'll give you a job. You go there, and what do they give you? Oh, apply online. Okay, well, what happens if you don't have internet? That's why it should be essential.
To get our kids to market swiftly, to power a clean energy revolution in this country, we need to modernize America's infrastructure.
True.
Despite this overwhelming need, this president and the Republican Congress have simply failed to act. There's no other way of saying it. To continue to break the promises they've made to the American people.
Okay, Biden, the promises Trump made, the fact that they're broken is good, okay? I don't want him to fulfilling any more of his promises, because the only promise, I guess the only promise that he did make was good, was like, we're going to rebuild infrastructure, and that hasn't happened, but everything else is like a disaster. All right, Dr. Magical, like I know him. Yeah, I did that a couple times. I would go to I think I did it 3 times. I did it at a Jamba Juice. Where else did I do it in? Maybe it was just Jamba Juice. Because I was like, they had this thing at work. Oh, maybe Target or something. No, I did it at GameStop. Yeah, I did it at GameStop, Jamba Juice, and Target. And I think Target is the only one that worked. Jamba Juice is nasty. Get the fuck out of here. I haven't banned you for anything yet, but Jamba Juice saying is nasty, that is bannable offense here, all right?
Now he's promising one again. Seems like every few weeks, when he needs a distraction from the latest charges of corruption in his staff or the conviction of high-ranking members of administration and political apparatus.
The Democrats are focusing... Why is he... You see the USA flag. It is a pretty thick USA flag. But why are these Democrat leaders focusing on the corruption scandals? That's the least of Trump's problems. That is his corruption is minuscule, all right? Well, pretty big if it was any other president, but it's pretty minuscule. Right now, people are dying. And he's aggravating countries and shit. It's like that they're focusing on political scandals. Get the fuck out of here, Biden.
The White House announces, quote, it's infrastructure week. How many times have you heard him say that?
Twice, actually. He did say that before.
He's never really even tried. Well, I know how to get it done. In 2009...
How would you get it done, Biden? But before that, I would address Gold Attorney's comment. Trump's only fan with Obama. I mean, knowing Trump, he would have, I feel like that's a thing he would have going, like an OnlyFans account. Because, he's big into diversifying. He's got the Trump University, he's got real estate, he had that reality show. Next logical step, OnlyFans account. A lot of good side money. I'm assuming 30%, all of his supporters, whichever, they are, a good amount of them would probably pay for it. I might pay for it, shit. I mean, are you not curious how his booty hole looks? I mean, if you had the choice to find out and get a good glance at Trump's booty hole for $5, would you not pay $5 to look at that booty hole? I'm not saying it's for, you know, arousal reasons. I'm saying it's for morbid curiosity reasons. I mean, it's only $5, right?
President Obama and I inherited an economy in free fall, and we prevented another Great Depression.
I guess, yes. You could have helped out the workers more than the companies, but go ahead.
Infrastructure plan since President Eisenhower's interstate highway system. Not only creating good-paying jobs, but improving the safety and security of people on our roads. We made the largest investment in clean energy in...
I mean, I'm saying I would pay. I mean, $5 for a booty hole pic of Trump? Yeah, I'll probably do it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if he exclusively offered it to me, I would pay it. But if he had an OnlyFans, then I'm sure I could just, you know, find it online somewhere on some, like, pirate website or something, you know? So maybe I won't pay for it. Dude, I am probably gonna throw this on YouTube myself. like that's where I put most of my Twitch streams. Well, not all of them, just highlights, certain highlights.
History of the United States of America, $90 billion. And it put us on a path toward a thriving, clean energy economy, powering new economic growth, and reducing energy costs. Here we are now with an economy in crisis, but with an incredible opportunity, not just to build back to where we were before, but better. Stronger, more resilient, and more prepared for the challenges that lie ahead. And there's no more consequential challenge that we must meet in the next decade than the onrushing climate crisis.
Correct.
Left unchecked, it is literally an existential threat to the health of our planet and to our very survival.
Very true.
That's not up for dispute, Mr. President. When Donald Trump thinks about climate change, the only word he can muster is hoax. When I think about climate change, the word I think of is jobs.
Good thought process. Good thought process. I like that. And I'm kind of confused why Trump doesn't advocate that. It's like, hey, you can invest in this. You could put your own money into it. Hey, if Trump all of a sudden came out with like a solar power company or something, I'll be all for it. You'd probably make bank. It would probably be a lot more thriving than, you know, Trump University or any of his casinos and shit.
Union jobs that have put Americans to work, making the air cleaner for our kids to breathe, restoring our crumbling roads and bridges and ports.
Okay, empty platitude.
Faster, cheaper, and cleaner.
Okay.
To transport American-made goods all across the country and around the world.
Let's get to the important bits. How are you going to do it?
Jobs to build and install a network of 500,000 charging stations along our existing highways that we've built across this country. Which not only will help...
That's actually very good, 500,000 charging stations, because if we do want to go carbon neutral, and, you know, cars are a big aspect of that, if you have no place to refill those electric cars, that's a big problem. That's a really big problem. So this is actually very smart. Good policy point.
The American automobile industry lead the world in manufacturing with electric vehicles. It will also save Americans billions of dollars over time in the cost of gasoline.
True.
Jobs that lay the lines for the second and open up investment in areas connected to metropolitan centers for the first time. When Donald Trump thinks about renewable energy, he sees windmills somehow causing cancer.
Yeah, that is actually ridiculous. The fact that Trump said that, and the fact that people still support him, just, oh my God. Honestly, I'm speechless. The fact that he said windmills caused cancer. I'm shook.
Windmills, I see American manufacturing, American workers racing to dominate the global market. I see the steel that will be needed for those windmill platforms.
Okay, inspirational talk. Let's skip over that. Get to the details.
I was up in Scranton last week.
Scranton, Pennsylvania. We got a little office action.
I see the union-trained and certified men and women who will manufacture and install it all. I see the ports that will come back to life, the longshoremen, the shipbuilders, the communities they support. When Donald Trump...
Why would the ports come back to life if you can fly everything out cheaper? This is like also a very old mindset that Biden has, that older politicians have. It's like, oh, we're going to bring back all these jobs and all these dead industries are going to just wake up again. No, they're not. The world's changed. Let's adapt. Let's not go back. Oh, God.
Talks about improving efficiency by retrofitting lighting systems with LED bulbs. Remember what he said? He said he doesn't like LED because, quote, the light's no good. They always look orange. End of quote. The lights...
Well, actually, doesn't like Samsung have like hue lighting? Couldn't you just produce those lights where you can change the color of the light so you can look, if he doesn't want to look orange, he can look extra white. I don't know.
No.
To be fair, he does go tanning. Like he gets like spray tanning. So how does he not? He looks orange by choice. So I don't know why he's attacking the lights for it, but
look good. I always look orange.
Orange.
When I think about energy retrofitting for lighting, I see the incredible projects like the one right here in the Chase Center. I see small businesses like Preferred Electric that design and install award-winning energy conservation measures, reduce consumption of electricity, and save businesses hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay, empty platitude.
Went through union apprenticeships who start off good wages and quality benefits that only grow from there. These investments are a win-win-win for this country.
True.
Creating jobs, cutting energy costs.
True.
Protecting our climate.
Very true.
That's why today I'm releasing my plan to mobilize millions of jobs by building sustainable infrastructure and an equitable clean energy future.
Good.
In my first 4 years, we're going to give 4 million buildings all across this country the same energy makeover that you get here at Chase, the Chase Center. It's going to create at least 1 million jobs in construction, engineering, and manufacturing.
Eliminate all jobs, make everyone's job the military. No, Mr. Adolf, I don't want to do that. Mr. Adolf, please. I do not want that one bit. Oh, yeah.
In order to get it done. It's going to make the places where we work, we live, we learn, healthier.
Okay.
Improving indoor air quality and water quality.
How are you going to improve indoor air quality? How does that work?
It's going to save tens of billions of dollars in energy cost over time.
That is true. If you put solar panels and retrofit old buildings with more updated materials, yes, that is beneficial, correct.
That's all real. We're not just going to...
This is the least insane I have seen Biden. Usually when he's been talking, he makes 7 mistakes and starts, going on some random tangents. I mean, to be fair, I do those, but his tangents make no sense. As opposed to mine.
Focus on commercial spaces, though. We're going to give direct support to help families do the same thing for their homes. We're going to offer cash rebates and low-cost financing.
Good.
Upgrade energy and efficient appliances and windows. Improvements that will cut their monthly energy bills and over time save them thousands. That's what I don't, I like it, but at the same time I don't like it. I wish upgrading windows was sexy, Like getting a solar panel installed in your house, that's a little sexy, I'm going to start a fire. Is it a fire under the politicians' asses to get this shit passed? Yeah, I agree with you. Get that fire started, Gold Attorney. I'll be right with you. I'll get the matches, you get the gasoline. Let's get it going. $1 a year. We're going to make a major investment to build 1.5 million new energy-efficient homes and public housing units will benefit from all the communities, 3 times over.
How are you going to do 1.5 million homes? Like, private companies going to be building 1.5 million homes, so why that number? Why not just give all around subsidies for building those houses. I'm assuming that's what he's proposing. But that's just a weird way of phrasing it.
By alleviating affordable housing.
Like, is 1.5 million homes the limit? I doubt it.
Crisis, by increasing energy efficiency, and by reducing the racial wealth gap.
Okay, good.
Last week, I talked about using the purchasing power of the federal government to reinvigorate domestic manufacturing. That's what we're going to do with the American automobile industry.
Why?
The United States owns and maintains an enormous fleet of vehicles.
Correct. Do you know how those fleets are made? It's not by workers anymore, it's by robots. Why would you replace a robot with a worker for bullshit reasons? Why not just provide the worker with financial support rather than throwing him back into the factory, slowing down production, and causing errors and more expenses for that factory? It makes zero sense. Just provide for the worker who is out of a job, whether it be retraining or UBI. Don't be like, all right, we're going to get rid of all these robots and we're going to give, Joe Plumber a wrench and he's going to go to work. It's like, what?
And we're going to convert these government fleets made and sourced right here in the United States of America, with the government providing the demand and the grant.
Yeah, sure, it's going to be built here. Yeah, I mean, look at Tesla's factories. Great job, right? They're pumping out cars by the dozen. Really efficient cars. But guess what they're made by? If you ever see a clip of a Tesla factory, you can barely see people. They're like hidden in the corners. Maybe the janitor is, a human. And then Elon Musk. It's Elon Musk and a janitor working in that factory, I swear to God. And he doesn't know how to plumb. Exactly.
Chance to retool factories that are struggling to compete. The U.S. auto industry and its deep bench of suppliers will step up, expanding capacity so that the United States, not China, leads the world in clean vehicle production.
Okay, good.
We're going to make it easy.
I don't know how you're going to beat China at this point. China's way ahead of us. They have way much more people. The best you can do is catch up. That's the best you can do is catch up to China at this point. And look at China. China saw no growth, and they saw what the coal mining, the coal industry was doing to their country. So once they reached the peak limit of coal and the investment in coal, they said, screw it, what's the next logical step to upgrade? Oh, clean energy, and boom, their economy is going up again. Oh, what if we just did that? Hey, bitch, you want that good? You want that? Psst, you want that? You want that good factory job? I got you. Just come on over here. I'll get you to sign up. You can clock in. Stand in front of a conveyor belt for 8 hours, possibly 12. We have to compete with robots now, so you might be in there for 15 hours a day. We don't know, but you'll have a job now. You can put in that wrench all day, every day, baby. All day, every day. You can crank that wrench. Feel fulfilled. Crank that wrench.
Easier for American
Makes zero sense.
consumers to switch to electric vehicles as well.
Good.
Not only by building 500,000 charging stations, but by offering rebates and incentives to
Good.
older fuel-efficient vehicles.
I love it.
For new, clean, made-in-America vehicles.
Why made in America? Why? Hold on. Why am I only getting the subsidies for made in America vehicles? All right. There's a reason I'm not buying a Chevy or a Ford. There's a reason why I'm buying a Nissan or Toyota. They're more reliable cars. Okay. If a car is more reliable, I shouldn't be punished for then not buying the shittier American version because it was made by Joe the plumber in Detroit. Like what?
Hundreds of billions of barrels, millions of barrels of oil on an annual basis. Together, this will mean 1 million new good-paying jobs in the automobile industry. It's supply chain.
You got that Camaro? Oh my God! I know you're military now. You straight up military. That is a military signature. If you were to sign off, any document you sign, it's just like you draw the Camaro. And it's like, oh, wow, this man's definitely in the Army.
Chain and the associated infrastructure needed to get it done.
It's either that or a Dodge Charger. Either of those as a signature would pass off great.
We also know that transforming the American electrical sector to produce power without producing carbon pollution and electrifying an increased share of our economy will be the greatest spurring of job creation and economic competitiveness in the 21st century. That's why we're going to achieve a carbon pollution-free electric sector by the year 2035.
2035. I like the ambition. I hope it happens. And I think my dog is crying outside my door. Give me a second. Why is he crying? Toby, why are you crying? Hello, Toby. Why are you crying? You running away now? Don't go in there. No. That's...
To work on it right away. We'll need the scientists at the national labs, the land-grant universities, the HBCUs, to improve and innovate technologies needed to generate, store, and transmit this clean energy.
True. Also, what we need to do is batteries. Batteries are very important. There's like a... From what I understand about batteries, which is not much, there's like with our current technology, there's like a limit of what we can store, like a straight up plateau. But like we're kind of on the cusp of like inventing / discovering. I don't know how far batteries go. Like the next level of like, whoa, shit. Dude, I give my dog the good man. He sees me, I give him the good. Wait, is he still yelling again? Oh my god. He's okay. So what my dog my dog is old, and like up until like 2 years ago, he would be fine, right? But now it's like I think he may have like dementia, so it's kind of like Biden. When people leave the house, he would always cry, but now he cries regardless if the people are at home or if they left. So if you're home, for some reason he starts thinking that, I don't know if people are gone or something, but then he goes by the garage door and just like puts his nose to the door and just like cries and weeps, and it's like the saddest thing, and it may look like animal abuse, but I don't know what it is, and it's not, because we give him treats and he's very happy when we give him treats, but then 30 minutes later he's crying by the door again. And it's not where he goes for walks. Keep in mind, we go for walks through the front door, not the garage door, but the garage door is what gets him going. I don't know.
Workers to manufacture them. We need iron workers and welders to install them.
Iron workers and welders, very important professions.
The world's largest exporter of these technologies, creating even more jobs.
Okay.
We know how to do this. Our administration rescued the auto industry and helped it retool, made solar energy the same cost as traditional energy.
Dude, I actually might switch houses in the next 6 months or so. So yeah, look at that. Look at that, making life moves.
More than 1 million homes, and we'll do it again, but this time bigger and faster and smarter.
I love how he's praising this his 2008 deal like it was the best deal stimulus package ever done in America, and it was actually pretty bad. The fact that he's praising it shows how little he's accomplished as vice president. To be fair, this is what pisses me off the most. Like a bunch of people go criticizing senators. And I'm going to be defending Biden at this point, and a bunch of senators that have got nothing accomplished. And that's the main point. A bunch of people that start attacking senators, it's like, well, you were in Senate for 20 years and you got nothing accomplished. It's like, dude, there's 200 other senators here, or 199 other senators here. What the fuck am I going to do? What are you supposed to do? Especially, let's say you do pass something, then it needs to go to the House, then it needs to go to the president, and then, most likely, it needs to go to the Supreme Court. How are you supposed to get anything done by being a lonely senator? You're not.
And as we do this work, we need to be mindful of the historical wrongs and the damage that American industries have done in the 20th century, inflicting environmental harm on the poor and vulnerable communities, so often black and brown and Native American communities.
True.
Polluted air, polluted water, toxins raining down from communities that bore the environmental and health burdens, but shared none of the profits.
Very true.
Growing up,
in fact, a lot of cases they got cancer. So, you know, there's a reward for it. You got something out of it. It's a life-threatening illness. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm going to bounce. I got to go. Man, you got to go do your military stuff. You know, the Camaro's calling. You got to dip. Thank you for joining me, Gold Attorney. See me tomorrow.
Breathing that in every day, it's poison. And it's partly why there are such incredible rates of childhood asthma in black and brown communities.
Yep. Because their neighborhoods are usually located next to industrial parks / factories. So yes, very bad. Mumal.
Black Americans are almost 3 times more likely asthma-related causes than white Americans. And that's why today I'm also releasing the State of the Environment Justice policies that build on my existing plan.
Good.
This is an area of incredible opportunity for economic growth for our country, but we have to make sure that the first people who benefit from this are the people who were most basically hurt by it.
Okay.
In the last century, by the structural disparities that exist. I'm setting a goal to make sure that these frontline and fence line communities receive 40% of the benefit from the investments we're making in housing, in pollution reduction, in workforce development, in transportation, across the board. Hazards that have now been abandoned. I saw the front page of the Times 2 days ago. All these places that are going bankrupt, except for the benefit that's going millions and millions of dollars going to the CEOs.
Yep.
More than 250,000 jobs right away to
tax the CEOs.
Millions of abandoned oil and gas wells that exist all across the country, posing daily threats to the health and safety of our communities. We're going to hold accountable those CEOs and corporations.
My man. Thanks for joining me. Have a good one.
Corporations that benefit from decades of subsidies, then just walked away from their responsibilities to these communities, leaving the wells to leak, pollutants to continue to spew, greenhouse gases flowing into the air and the water. We're not only going to repeal those subsidies, we're going to go after those golden parachutes.
You should still have subsidies for companies. I'm assuming I was kind of zoning in and out for a second there, but I'm sure he was making the point that it's like, hey, they're polluting. If a company breaks the law, they should not receive subsidies, all right? Whether it be environmental law or a financial law, those subsidies should be discontinued, given the good cut. That would be the biggest punishment for a company. That's some fine of like $100 million. Yeah, what is $100 million to Amazon or like another? Well, to be fair, Amazon doesn't make, toxic material. But to those companies, you can easily just cut the subsidies and they would be shut out of luck.
CEOs gave themselves before declaring bankruptcy to make sure that workers received the benefits and retirement they were promised. Let's create new markets for our family farmers and our ranchers. A new modern-day civilian climate corps to heal our public lands, to make us less vulnerable to wildfires and floods. Look, these aren't pie-in-the-sky dreams. These are actionable policies.
That is true.
That we can get to work.
They're actually very easily implemented and should be bipartisan. In Europe, these things are bipartisan.
We can live up to our responsibilities, meet the challenges of a world at risk of a climate catastrophe, build more climate-resilient communities, put millions of skilled workers on the job, and make life markedly better and safer for the American people all at once and benefit the world in the process. The alternative Continue to ignore the facts.
Yeah.
Deny reality. Focus only on technology of the last century instead of inventing the technology that will define this century. It's just plain un-American not to.
Yeah.
This is all
that's how you sell an idea to Americans, especially the conservatives. It's like, hey, you will be actually very patriotic. You just gotta force down patriotism down their throat, and disguise every progressive idea as like patriotism, and they just they go gaga for it. So that's what they should be doing. Good approach, Biden.
Backward-looking policies
that
will harm the environment, make communities less healthy, hold back economic promise, while other countries race ahead. It's a mindset that doesn't have any faith in the capacity of the American people to compete,
to
innovate, and to win. It's never been a good bet to bet against the American people.
That's an empty platitude, but it's all right.
The deadly cost. I know better. I know you do as well. I know what the American people are capable of. I know what American workers can accomplish when given the room to run.
Empty platitude, but whatever, you gotta do. You're a politician, you gotta do it.
Going to define our American future. I know meeting the challenge will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to jolt new life into our economy.
Strengthen
our global leadership. Protect our planet for future generations.
True.
And if I have the honor of being elected president...
That's also another thing. It's like if you're a conservative pro-life, how is not supporting the environment pro-life? You're pro-life to nobody, dude.
We're not just going to tinker around the edges. We're going to make historic investments that will seize the opportunity and meet this moment in history. We're going to get to work delivering results right away on day one.
That's bullshit. You're not going to get it on day one, let's be honest. But, again, empty platitudes for being a politician, that's fine. You need to say that or nobody's going to vote for you, which is, again, that's a problem in the democratic system. But, let's continue.
We're going to reverse Trump's rollbacks of 100 public health and environmental rules and then forge a path to greater ambition. We're going to get back into the Paris Agreement, back into the business of leading the world.
Good. The Paris Agreement should be, it's not doing enough.
In progress.
Also, it has no teeth. You need an agreement to have teeth. But because there's no governing supernatural governing body of the planet, it ain't going to happen, all right?
That no future president can roll back.
That's good.
To take us backward again. Science requires a timetable for measuring progress on climate that isn't 3 decades or even 2.
Good.
Science tells us we have 9 years before the damage is irreversible.
I love how he's like, the science tells us 9 years, but my 15-year plan is going to solve this. Like, be more aggressive. No, this is what you got to do. This is what the Democrats fail to do. Be really aggressive and then pull back to this. This is what the Republicans are always good at. They go to the complete extreme and then they pull back, and it's like, oh, they made concessions, but it's like you still lose in that concession. So why not just go extreme, and then when the Republicans are like, whoa, no, it's really extreme, you go back to this, and then like, oh, I guess we could work with this. Boom, that's how you're a politician. These guys are terrible.
So my timetable results is in my first 4 years as president. The jobs we'll create, the investments we'll make, and the irreversible steps we'll take to mitigate and adapt to the climate change and put our nation on the road to net zero emissions no later than 2050.
That's 30 years away.
Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to work now. Now. Thank you.
Okay, as much as I hate to say it, that was a pretty good speech. Again, a lot of empty platitudes, but he's a politician. You got to deal with that. His policy's not actually that bad. Again, the worker stuff, it's like, yeah, it makes sense, but you got to think more ahead to address the workers' concerns. Not like, oh, Like he always attacks Trump for like, oh, he's looking back into the past. Well, you're doing the exact same thing by looking back into the past of like, oh, we're gonna bring back all these industries and then the workers are gonna work happily in those non-competing industries. Oh, come on, dog. And it doesn't work like that. But overall, this makes me excited. I don't want to say it. For a Biden presidency. I don't want it. I don't want it. Please don't give it to me. Please.